No matter what part of the world you live in, as long as there's a sea or a river around you, there's fishing. The sea is full of hundreds of unique creatures, and some of them haven't even been discovered yet, due to how much of the sea remains unexplored even today. While there are tiny tuna fishes that are smaller than the average adult human finger, there are creatures of the sea that are far bigger than the entire body of a human being, and some of them have been caught by human beings while they went out for fishing. That's the topic for today, as we'll take a look at the 10 biggest fish catches ever made in history. So let's not waste time and get right into it. Number 10. Shortfin Macko Shark in Massachusetts. One fine day in 2001, Luke Sweeney caught a menacing shortfin Macko shark in a 3-hour-long battle for a tournament called the Oak Bluffs Monster Shark. Interestingly, he had the smallest boat in the tournament, which was just a 24-foot-long World Cat, yet he ended up setting the world record for the 10th biggest catch, weighing at a total of 1,221 pounds. Number 9. Great Hammerhead Shark in Boca Grande. On an average basis, Bucky Dennis usually fished for snook and tarpon fishers. However, the season in which tarpons come to the sea, hammerheads do as well. Using a stingray as bait, he managed to bait a hammerhead shark that weighed 1,280 pounds. It wasn't easy to catch as the shark hauled his 23-foot boat for nearly 12 miles. But in the end, Bucky won the battle and brought the heavy shark back home in 2006. Number 8. Sixgill Shark in British Overseas Territories. Sixgill sharks are quite the rare breed, despite being present in many parts of the international waters, and they're heavier than you would imagine them to be. Angler Clemens Rump caught a 1,298-pound sixgill shark in the middle of the Atlantic in 2002. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't a complicated haul, thanks to the fact he was well prepared for it. Before we continue with another amazing fish, just make sure you fully support us and hit the like button. Number 7. Pacific Blue Marlin in Hawaii. Jay DeBubane managed to catch a 1,368-pound Pacific Blue Marlin in less than an hour, which is a massive achievement, considering the fact it's such a massive creature to get a hold of. There have been more records with this fish, as a diver managed to spear one while free diving, which is not an easy task, and at another point, a man managed to catch a Pacific Blue Marlin that was 1,368 pounds in 2015. However, to break a record, you need to exceed the number that the previous person held, so Jay's record still remains in place. Number 6. Atlantic Blue Marlin in Brazil. The Atlantic Blue Marlin is not an easy fish to come by, and when it comes to one that weighs 1,402 pounds and 2 ounces, it's nearly impossible. A Brazilian angler called Paulo Amorim caught this fish in 1992, and it continues to remain a world record even to this day. It's truly an intimidating image to see with how gigantic this fish was. Number 5. Atlantic Bluefin Tuna in Canada. It's difficult to catch massive bluefins, and it's even harder today since they are very strictly regulated now due to fears of their extinction. Ken Fraser in 1979 managed to catch one that weighed no less than 1,496 pounds, which is insanely heavy and one of the largest examples of this fish that you'll ever get to see. This record is certainly here to stay, since fishing for a bluefin is strict, which means that Ken Fraser will be a name to remember for more decades to come. Number 4. Black Marlin in Peru. A massive jump from number 3. This black marlin weighed at a total of 1,560 pounds. Fished by the legendary Alfred C. Glassell Jr., this gigantic black marlin was found in 1953 and still has not been beaten at a record. That is over half a century and counting, which is insanely long for a record, and this fish is actually used as a permanent exhibit in a museum to this day. Number 3. Greenland Shark in Norway. Another massive jump in weight from the previous record. This Greenland shark weighed at a total of 1,708 pounds and 9 ounces. Turgi Nordfeldt used a herring as bait and caught one of the largest sharks ever seen by mankind, which consistently remains a record since 1987. It's no surprise that this list is filled with a lot of sharks, as they are some of the largest creatures of the sea, and anything bigger than them is usually impossible to haul in terms of fishing, and instead can only be killed and removed by large ships. Number 2. Tiger Shark in Australia. Technically, Kevin J. Clapson broke the previously held 40-year-old world record by fishing a tiger shark that weighed at 1,785 pounds and 11 ounces. However, this shark was only 11 ounces heavier than the previous record, and it was ruled by authorities that it is unfortunately just a tie. However, he's still internationally considered the new record holder by many people, since his 2004 catch is, by logic, heavier than the 1964 record, even if by mere ounces. Number 1. White Shark in Australia. An enormous jump from the previous weight, this white shark was a total of 2,664 pounds, which is heavier than you could imagine. Setting the record in 1959, Alfred Dean caught the biggest fish of all time and was approved by the IGFA for this achievement. Not only that, but his record is most certainly here to stay, considering the fact this shark is now a rare species and is protected by strong regulations. So it's not only impossible to fish them now, it's also unlikely that whoever breaks the rules would end up with a shark as big as this anyway. One way or another, this is the single largest fish ever caught in history. That wraps up our list for the 10 biggest fish catches ever. It sure was a different time back then, because many of these magnificent creatures cannot be fished today due to regulations, so setting new records is going to be difficult. However, you never know what mysteries the sea has in store for us, so we'll see what happens in time. If you like this video, please show your support by liking it, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the bell icon for getting instant updates of future uploads. And don't forget to tell us if you've ever caught a fish too in the comments below. We'll see you on the next video.